Level 1. The Prodigy. You are 14 years old. You have just skipped 2 grades. The other kids at Lafayette High School in Brooklyn are 17, 18. You are a child sitting in a room full of adults, and you are smarter than every single one of them. Your father is a groundskeeper for the New York City Parks Department. Your mother is a school aide. You live in a rented apartment in Seagate, a gated community at the edge of Coney Island that sounds wealthy, but isn't. The gates keep the neighborhood safe. They don't keep it rich. Your classmates call you Epi. You play classical piano. You tutor other students in math for pocket money. Teachers describe you as quiet, gifted, and sweet. You graduate at 16, not because the system pushed you, because the system couldn't keep up. You enroll at Cooper Union, then NYU. You never finish either, not because you can't, because you've already realized something that most people spend their entire lives not understanding. A degree is a receipt. A connection is a currency. And you were born knowing how to make people feel like they need you. Level 2. The Teacher. You are 21. You have no college degree. You are teaching calculus and physics at the Dalton School on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, one of the most elite private schools in America. Tuition costs more than your father earns in a year. The children in your classroom are the sons and daughters of Wall Street. Their parents drive cars that could buy your apartment building. You teach their kids math, and you learn something far more valuable in return. You learn how wealth moves, how it talks, how it stands. You study the parents the way a zoologist studies a species. And one day, during a parent-teacher conference, a father who works at Bear Stearns watches you explain a concept and thinks, this kid is wasting his time in a classroom. He calls Alan Greenberg, the CEO of Bear Stearns, and tells him to hire you. Weeks later, you are dismissed from Dalton. Your performance review says your teaching skills are lacking. You walk out of the most exclusive school in Manhattan with no degree, no job, and one phone number that will change the trajectory of your life. Level 3. The Climb. You are 23. You are sitting at a desk inside Bear Stearns, one of the most powerful investment banks on Wall Street. Alan Greenberg prefers hiring men from modest backgrounds with, as he puts it, a deep desire to become rich. You qualify on both counts. You rise fast. You learn options trading. You advise the firm's wealthiest clients. Jimmy Kane, a senior partner, introduces you to billionaires over lunch. You don't just manage their money. You make them feel understood, safe, handled. But you also lie on your resume about your education. You charge $10,000 of jewelry for a girlfriend to the company account. When confronted, you tell a senior executive, I knew nobody would give me a chance. The executive later tells the New York Times, I didn't realize I was creating one of the monsters of Wall Street. By 1981, you leave Bear Stearns. Some say you were pushed after an internal investigation. Either way, you walk out with something more valuable than a salary. You walk out with a contact list of the richest people in America, and you know exactly what they need. Someone who knows their secrets and never tells. Level 4. The Shadow. You are 29. You have opened your own consulting firm from your Manhattan apartment. You tell people you recover stolen money for the ultra-wealthy. You call yourself a bounty hunter. You also tell people you work in intelligence. Neither claim has ever been verified. Both make you more interesting. By 1984, you are a millionaire. By 1988, you found J. Epstein and Company, a financial management firm that claims to serve only clients with a net worth of $1 billion or more. The press loves the mystique. You refuse to name your clients. You refuse to explain your methods. You create a vacuum, and the wealthy fill it with their trust. Then you meet Leslie Wexner, the founder of L Brands, the man behind Victoria's Secret, one of the richest men in America. By 1991, Wexner grants you full power of attorney over his fortune. You can hire, fire, buy, sell, borrow, and spend on his behalf. You manage his wealth. You build his yacht. You purchase his properties. Nobody fully understands how you make your money. That's the point. Opacity is the product. The less people know, the more they assume you must be powerful. And powerful people attract other powerful people. You buy a $77 million townhouse in Manhattan, one of the largest private residences in New York City. You buy a ranch in New Mexico, an apartment in Paris, and then you buy an island. Little St. James, 72 acres in the U.S. Virgin Islands. You pay $7.95 million. You will turn it into the most infamous private island on Earth. Level 5, The Circle. You are 47. You have dinner with Nobel laureates. You donate $35 million to Harvard. You fund molecular biology research. You sit on the board of the New York Academy of Art, founded by Andy Warhol. Your private jet carries former presidents. Your phone has the personal numbers of princes. Bill Clinton flies on your plane 26 times. Donald Trump calls you a terrific guy. Bill Gates visits your Manhattan townhouse repeatedly. Scientists, lawyers, filmmakers, politicians. They orbit you like moons around a dark planet. And you're not a billionaire. You're not a genius inventor. You're not a world leader. You're a college dropout from Coney Island who taught math for 2 years and learned how to make powerful people feel comfortable in rooms they shouldn't be in. Nobody asks where the money comes from. Nobody asks why the girls are so young. Nobody asks because asking means leaving the circle. And the circle is warm. The circle has jets and islands and introductions that open doors no key ever could. The circle protects itself. That is its only real function. Level 6, The System. You are 50. Behind the mansions and the donations and the Harvard dinners, you have built something else entirely. Beginning in at least 2002, you create a network. Girls, 14, 15, 16 years old, are recruited from schools, from malls, from families that can't protect them. They are told they'll give a massage. They are paid $200, $300. They are brought to your Palm Beach estate, your Manhattan townhouse, your island. And then they are trapped. Not by chains, by money, by shame, by the knowledge that the man who just assaulted them has dinner with presidents and the phone number of every prosecutor in the state. You pay some of them to recruit others, younger ones. The system feeds itself. Investigators will later identify over 36 victims between the ages of 14 and 17. The Department of Justice will eventually document over 1,000. Ghislaine Maxwell, a British socialite, daughter of a media mogul, becomes your partner in this. She recruits, she grooms, she normalizes the presence of children in rooms full of powerful men. She will later be convicted of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. You are not hiding. You are operating in plain sight, because you have calculated correctly that no one who benefits from your circle will ever report what happens inside it. Level 7, The Deal. You are 52. In March 2005, the parents of a 14-year-old girl walk into the Palm Beach Police Department and report that you paid their daughter to strip and massage you. The police investigate. They find more girls, then more, then more. They search your home. They build a case. 36 identified victims. The FBI opens a federal investigation. A federal prosecutor drafts a 53-page indictment. 60 criminal counts. You are facing decades in prison, possibly life. And then something happens that will define not just your story, but the story of American justice for a generation. Your lawyers, including Alan Dershowitz and Kenneth Starr, negotiate with the U.S. Attorney in Miami, Alexander Acosta. The deal they reach is, in the words of a former federal prosecutor, completely unprecedented. You plead guilty to 2 state charges. You are sentenced to 18 months. You serve 13. In a county jail, not a federal prison. You are allowed to leave your cell 6 days a week for 12 hours a day on work release. Your private driver picks you up each morning and takes you to your office. The federal investigation is shut down through a secret non-prosecution agreement. Your victims are not told. The deal is sealed. Your co-conspirators, unnamed, receive blanket immunity. You walk out in July 2009. You have served 13 months for crimes that should have ended your life in prison. And nobody told the girls. Level 8, The Reckoning. You are 66. For a decade after your release, you continue to operate. You continue to travel on your private jet. You continue to host visitors on your island. You continue to live in the $77 million townhouse where federal agents will later find thousands of photographs of and partially nude girls, including minors. And then Julie K. Brown, a reporter at the Miami Herald, publishes an investigation. She interviews the victims your plea deal was designed to silence. She documents the role of Alexander Acosta, who by 2018 is the United States Secretary of Labor. She puts faces and names on the girls who were 14 when you first called them into a room. On July 6, 2019, you step off your private jet at Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. FBI agents from the Crimes Against Children Task Force are waiting. The indictment: trafficking of minors. The Southern District of New York is not bound by the deal your lawyers cut in Florida 11 years ago. A judge denies bail. You are sent to the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. Maximum security. No work release. No private driver. No island. For the first time in your life, you are inside a system you cannot buy. Level 9. Cell. You are 66. It is August 10, 2019, 35 days after your arrest. The cameras outside your cell are not functioning. The 2 guards assigned to monitor you are both asleep. One is working a 5th consecutive overtime shift. Neither checks on you for approximately 8 hours. This is a facility that previously held El Chapo. You are found at 6:30 a.m., bedsheet around your neck, kneeling position. The New York City medical examiner rules your death a suicide by hanging. Your family hires an independent pathologist who disputes the finding and suggests the injuries are more consistent with homicidal strangulation. A Department of Justice investigation, completed in 2025, concludes you died by suicide. Neither conclusion satisfies anyone, because the question was never really how you died. The question is what you knew, who you knew, what was on the photographs, what was in the files, and why every system that was supposed to stop you, police, prosecutors, prisons, politicians, failed at every single point. Your estate at the time of your death is valued at $577 million. Level 10. The files. You are dead, but the names are not. In the years following your death, thousands of documents are unsealed. Flight logs, depositions, photographs, correspondence, guest lists. The names include former presidents, billionaires, royalty, scientists, and lawyers. Some were friends, some were clients. Some were in rooms where children were present. The documents do not prove what each person did. They prove that every one of them knew who you were. 1,000 victims are documented by the Department of Justice. 1,000 people who were children when you found them. Some are still alive. Some are not. You built a fortune no one can fully trace. You cultivated a circle no one dared to leave. You constructed a system where the price of silence was access and the price of speaking was destruction. And when the walls finally closed in, you were found dead in a cell where the cameras weren't working and the guards were asleep. None of that matters now. What matters is what you did with the thing you were given, the ability to make powerful people trust you. You used it to build an empire where children were the currency and silence was the price of admission. The files are public now. The names are known. But the circle that protected you for 30 years has not been charged, tried, or convicted.